No,
No?
no. I'm born in north of France,
Okay.
where my mother is come from. Is in a town named Lille, which is a big town in France.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I've been traveling when I was younger. I've been traveling. My father was working for United Nations, so I've traveled a lot in Africa.
Okay.
So in different countries in Africa. So
Okay.
I'm not.
There you go. There you go. Are we shooting for real now, or are we just shooting B-roll?
For real?
Oh, we're shooting for real. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I saw the interview that Abby and B did with you, and I was very curious how you made the transition from model to photographer.
You know, you don't have really transitions because it's you keep open your eyes. It's not because you're modeling that you stop looking at the people, you stop looking at all the details. You look around you,
Right.
and this is true that the first job that I've done was in the backstage of a big company like Chanel, and it was also a company I was working for. So I was really lucky to do this. But you don't really have a transition. It's one day you realize, okay, you want to do something else, and you're not comfortable anymore as a model because you want to do more. You want to express yourself, and
Right.
as a model, I was lucky because I've worked with people who let me express myself. You see, I'm talked to, so I was sometimes very, very,
Right.
I wanted to express myself in another way than just showing clothes on me.
Okay. Who inspired you initially, or whose work do you enjoy?
As a
Photographer.
As a photographer, as I said in a previous interview, I used to cut in the magazines. I'm really into magazine things because I'm growing up in Africa. We didn't have a lot of it. You didn't have a lot of opportunities to meet big photographers or to see big exhibitions. It was not really at this time so developed. So all this new image and all these new things that I could have and I could see was from the magazine my mother was buying, like the Elle and the Marie Claire. So we were waiting, everybody was expecting from the magazine. So my first image was much more into magazines. So as I said, like Sarah Moon, Serge Lutens are really the big photographer that I really enjoy.
Modeling, and why did you choose to do that?
Do you think models say the age? No.
Well, we could say it was like, well, we're in 1980, so you could have got 1978.
No, it's okay. No, I started modeling. I was 19, but in fact, I was not that young because now more and more we see younger and younger girls. Right. I was young at the time, but now it's when you well, in France you're not allowed to work before 16.
Okay.
But I know that in other countries you can start to work. Even in the US, I'm not so sure, but I think in the US you can start
around
with
16,
a certain law, 16, and maybe sometime under if the law is checking all this. So me, I started at 19, but at the time I felt so young and fresh. Now the people say 19, she's still
over the hill. Yeah.
She's finished. So it's another time. That's why it's another time.
Okay. Okay. Well, is that something you felt you always wanted to do, or did you just get an opportunity and take it?
I don't know, because it's difficult to say you want to be model. That means I am pretty. I am no. You just like this old. I like this fashion world. I like the nice clothes because my mother was sewing clothes. I like all this environment. So when you have the opportunity and somebody come to you and say, "Oh, you look like," you say, "No, not me," because you always see those girls on the magazine who are so perfect, and you say, how can you imagine you can be in this perfection? After when you work, you realize it's a job, and to get the perfection, you have to take care of your hair, of your skin, of your way you're living. But no, it's I don't know. Maybe now they changed because people like to be famous to write. At the time, no, not that. No, it was more people who look at you and say, "Why you don't try?" And say, "Okay, I'm coming." Hold on.
Yeah, this will go much better now that we have this.
Voilà.
Cheers.
Enjoy France.
Absolutely. Well, how would you describe your particular style of photography? What do you seek to do?
It's so difficult to do this. Can you answer this question when people ask you? Yes.
I could make up something,
Yeah.
but not now. You're right. It is a difficult question
it's a
because
difficult question.
every situation is
yes,
different.
It's different. What I want to do and I like to do is just like have a connection. When I do portrait, you have a connections
Right.
with the people that I
Right.
take pictures. I like also all the details of things. The details, or sometimes it can be. I don't know, an attitude. The picture don't have always to be on focus. Sometimes
Right.
it can be like flu. Like it's difficult to speak about really the style because what we want to do and sometimes what we get is right. It's
exactly.
sometimes different, but
Exactly.
but what I remember is much more the people that I met, much more
Right.
than the picture.
You're
the
right.
picture is just to show to the others that I. To show to the others what was the time for me. I've met so many people I could do pictures of, and I didn't do the pictures.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go have pictures to do. No.
There you go. There you go. Well, let's talk a little bit about some of the technical aspects. What do you shoot with? What do you like to shoot with?
I'm not really into this technical discussion. I'm not really big fan.
The technology and all of that. Yeah.
I know we need it because when you have something precise to do and you have all your team who are with you waiting for you, the light is gonna come. You have to work, so you don't have time to have like this in between camera, yes, or something. So you need very good. And now there's more and more, new technology who can help the photographer. But I'm not too much into say, okay, I'm using this camera because it's helped me. I'm not going to do advertising for camera, even if I use Canon.
Oh, this interview is over. She's a Canon girl. Gotta go.
Come on. No, it's just because I started with Canon and then now I want to Canon.
It's all right.
That's why.
Yes,
After people say, "Oh, and I'm not gonna say just because Canon, because I know my camera. I know how to use it. That's the point. But I'm not gonna say I can use another camera if it's I can use a small one. I can use my cellular phone.
Right.
Exactly. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not really. I remember one time I was doing shooting for Chanel. I was doing in the backstage of Chanel as a photographer, and I was this my big camera. And then also I have this little camera. Then at the end I would just do 2 little with this little camera. And then it was the one who came out in the magazine.
Shots, right?
Yes, it came out in the magazine.
Yeah.
So how can you explain that? You see?
Yeah.
I think Canon's going to be pissed, but it's okay.
Yeah. How funny. How do you feel about film versus digital? Do you use film anymore at all?
I've got a lot in my fridge. Actually,
I know, so do I. I have boxes and boxes in my freezer.
I got also these Polaroids. I love this because I have this big camera, like Polaroids. I said, okay, I'm going to do advertising, okay. But I really like this because it came with a big Polaroid. No, I'm not gonna go into this kind of discussion because I don't know what to say. I like to speak about the light. I like to speak about people I meet. I feel the people, how warm it is, but with the camera, I don't care.
I get you.
I care, but I don't want to discuss about this so much.
Now, do you ever do self-portraits?
Of me? Yes, but I'm just fed up. You should see how many pictures I have at home of me. Now I'm just fed up. Now you want to take pictures of me. You're gonna see how picky I am now. Like no, because
I'm picky. Yeah,
yes,
I get it.
Because a lot of pictures of me. I like, of course. It's always it's always nice. But I don't do that much self-portrait. I have been focusing on myself for so many years, as I told you, as a model, try to be perfect. Like the hair is gonna be like that. So of course I've kept some attitude, but it's not so much. I like to be open to the others and to look at the others and enjoy the others. Yes.
Where do you see yourself going with your photography, or have you already reached it, or do you want to go other places with it?
No, I think as a photographer, as an artist, you always want to move or have different things, have different sensations, and I don't know if you say that in English, but in French we can. No, I haven't reached it. You always
Okay.
want. I heard in your interview you said that you always want to learn.
Yes.
Learn and meet new peoples
Right.
and of course share your job, your work with
Right.
others and meet also others artists. I think it's really interesting. That's. I don't know. I don't know when I will be reaching the point. I think I will be so bored that I would do something else because
Right.
I can't if I reach the top. Not the top. I mean the top of what I want.
Right.
That means I'm bored, and when I'm
Yes.
bored, I leave.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Now there are books in you, right?
Yes.
Yes. Talk about your books.
So my books that came out a few years ago now it was an idea. It was based on my family, my story more or less, because my father is African, my mother is French, and I wanted to know more or less, or the people who are like me, like mixed from mixed races.
Biracial, right?
Yes.
Right.
How do they feel for some things who seems simple, but not so much in fact. So first I've done the portrait, but done the shooting, but then also I was doing the interview, asking them how do the parents meet, what do the parents cook at home, what did they learn from their parents, what do they gonna give to their child. All this was mixture with the pictures, and it was a great time because, as I told you, it was nice to meet people, and also there's people who are well known and people who are just students, and it was interesting because you realize that the answers are almost the same, because before you're well known, sometimes you're kids.
Right.
As a kid, you're not well known sometimes.
Right.
And you have the same stories, sometimes it was not so easy, sometimes it was funny, sometimes it was really, really interesting, so it depends of the...
Well, this is ironic because someone asked me to work on a documentary on this same topic, and when they initially asked me, I'm like, why? Who can? Because from the outside looking in, I'm like, being biracial would be the greatest thing in the world to be. But he's biracial and said, no, it's not, because you never know who you are and who's going to accept you.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. Because when I was in Africa, when I grew up, the first thing the African was saying at me that was not black. Then I arrived in France. I was like almost 12. And the first thing the friends in my classroom, they say, oh, you're not white.
Right.
But me, I was like, okay, I am who I am. But it was not a big story, but it was somehow questions,
Yeah.
And it depends, each person has his own story about this. So.
Okay. Now, at this point in your career, what validates the work for you? Is it what other people say about your work? Do you instinctively know when you hit it, when you're good, when you've got that money shot? Because, I was saying to her last night, I was like, that's the money shot, right? That's the money shot right there when I was shooting her. But do you know? Or do you need people to...
I'm not so sure about if I understand your question. Like, when I shoot, do I know if I'm gonna have money in my pocket?
No, if that's the shot. What we call the money shot.
Yes, because I start also before the numérique, comment on dit?
Digital?
Digital. I start before the digital. And at the time, I don't know if you were working also with, you have to remember you were shooting, and then you say, I think I have see the good shot. After now with the digital, you just
look
and
automatically,
you check, and then that's it.
Yeah.
But before you have to, so more or less, you open your eyes and then I think I know, I know when the thing is done, but I can't overdo it because tomorrow maybe I'll never promise it.
Well, one of the guys that
happened
mentors
to you sometimes.
Yeah.
You
Well, one of the guys who mentors me will not put the display on the back of the digital camera. He doesn't want to see, and he just shoots blindly.
Yeah, okay.
I gotta see.
Now that I start to work like this,
Yeah.
I think it's much more interesting because sometimes it helps the people I'm shooting.
Right.
More when it's not a professional. It helps.
Right.
So they look at the picture. I say, like this, you're so nice, and this profile. And look. When it's you shoot a models or something, somebody who are are used to. You don't have really to do it. But for people who are not professional, it's helped them to be more comfortable in your shooting. I don't know how you feel like this. You like now you like to look at the
I do. I must admit I do. Yeah. But as a former model shooting models, are you particularly sensitive to their needs?
Yes, they love me. They love me. At the end of the shoot, they say, Vera, wherever you do, I come, I sign. I see you there, I come because I take care of them. I say, are you okay? You're not too hot. You're not too this. You want water? After when we work, we have to work. But I know exactly. I can feel, when it's too much. When it's freezing, we are outside. The girls start to be blue. That you need. Okay, let's go inside, drink something warm, and let's do it quick. And so they love me. I'm happy for them. I'm lucky. No, I don't know them all, but the one I work with, I think I am really sensitive for this.
Okay. Do you ever want to get back in it?
As a model?
Yeah. When you're shooting other people.
How much do you give me? I want a Shannon outfit, and maybe I will see.
And some Louboutin shoes. Yeah, I got you.
Because it's funny because I saw there's more and more in France. It's more and more advertising with girls. Black girls like me, not so black but not so white, who are not so young, who are not so black, and it's really changing because when I was modeling, we didn't do that much advertising, and now it's for bank, it can be for yogurt, it can be for something. So who knows? Maybe tomorrow we're going to see and be, I know her.
It's called Journey to the Woman I've Come to Love. It's a book I'm working on.
Yes, I saw this. On there.
So, and almost done. Have a few more people to shoot, including yourself. You should be in. Yeah. This is a Nazi war survivor. This is an author in the U.S. We're losing that. It's Marion Jones. Yeah. So almost done.
Since I'm even in time, I'm going to start all these pictures. You have mixed pictures you have already. That's the point.
Yeah. So I've been working on it since 2006. It's time to call it a day. Because it could go on forever. I just keep adding people.
Yes. You have to do double books.
Yes. Yeah, volume 1 and 2. So
because it's connected with people you meet.
Yes,
so
exactly.
The life is with people we meet, and you never stop meeting people.
Exactly.
That's the point.
Exactly. That's it. So, or whatever it is, if it touches me and I want to, I just think about how can I do that, and how can I convey that feeling. And, with the book is more about really the responses, there are some good photographs in it, but, it's really tied into the responses. And like Angela Davis, that's not a great shot, but that's the only shot I could get of her in the 2 seconds that she gave me. But her response is, she learned to love herself when she realized the community was more important than she was.
It's a big story.
Yeah.
Of course. So why did you take so many time to do this book? Is it because you wanted to meet more and more people, or you didn't want to close it?
A little bit of all of that. I got a little lazy and a little busy. And at one point I was not going to do it, and then I said, well, everybody kept saying it's such a great concept, it's such a great idea, and I was like, okay, and then now it's like you keep adding people, So but no, I'm happy to have this ad because everyone is so diverse, and that was the goal going into it. I wanted to have a book that was very diverse, that included women who were famous and not so famous, and and it makes it difficult. It makes it a difficult sell to a publisher because they're looking at the people who aren't famous and saying, why do we care? And I'm saying because you should care because they're just everybody's important.
Yes, of course.
Exactly.
And how do you find the people? You call them, you know them,
A lot of the celebrities I do know because that's my work.
Yes.
And other people I do know, and other people I've kind of met through other people like you. So it's just I'll be at an event, and then all of a sudden I see the woman who won the Nobel Peace Prize from Liberia. And I'm like,
okay.
oh yeah, gotta have her. Yeah, and or you'll be at the Oscars, and then Angie Jolie will be walking by, and you're like, oh, that's a great shot. And then you ask her the question.
And why this question particularly? What is important to you with this question?
Because I, about maybe 2002, I did this story on how different ethnicities, or different women of different ethnicities, how they approached aging. Because I grew up in a predominantly affluent white community in the Midwest, and a lot of my friends back when we were in our 40s, they were starting to get Botox and worrying about their wrinkles. My white friends and all this, and they look at me and like, you're not changing,
No, they can't do this anymore.
Yeah. And I was like, it's ridiculous. I think you look beautiful. I think because when I look at people, I don't really see their exterior so much. I see this. This is what I connect to. So, and they were getting all this work, and I was like, why is this? And, because my black friends were not concerned about it at all. And so I said, I wonder what the Asians and the Native Americans and the Latinos are thinking. So I did this story about how different cultures of women approach aging. And, Asian women were kind of on the fence. Native Americans, and this was an interesting response, one Native American woman told me, look, we don't care about that. We're trying to live past 35. That's what's more important to us. We don't care about how we look. And Latina women were, they pretty much aligned with white women a little bit because, they were starting to worry about the wrinkles and the sags. And I talked to plastic surgeons and I talked to psychologists and plastic surgeon, because there's this myth that black women don't get plastic surgery. So I talked to this woman, Dr. Emily Pollard in Philadelphia, and she said, I have black women coming here all the time. And she said, because we don't wrinkle, but we get folds, we get sag, And so she said they tighten that up. And and then they get body work. So it was a really interesting study because the older black women I spoke to, their self-worth is not tied into the way they look. It's tied into their spirit and to their soul. And the older white women I talked to, everything was about this. So it was very interesting.
And do you see the difference with people who work with their face, maybe with an actress, and somebody who work with his mind, like, I don't know, with philosophy, or
absolutely.
You see really the difference.
Absolutely. All the older white actresses I talked to in the book who made me Photoshop them, their self-worth is tied into the way they look. And because they're starting to wrinkle and all that, they don't feel very good about themselves. But
But you think it's themselves, or maybe it's the pressure of the cinema and all this
but
world.
in Hollywood, if you're over 40, you're done anyway.
That's heard.
You're done. Regardless of what color you are, you're done.
You're done. You're old.
So the woman who brought me into journalism, who is, let's see, if I'm 54, she's 74. She could care less about the wrinkles and the bags under her eyes, and she's an academic. So it's not important to her.
But maybe it's what do you think? Because you don't care what you don't have. Probably.
Yes,
exactly. It's also easier.
Exactly. And if you've never had to focus on the way you look.
Yes.
You don't care. So that's like me, I don't care,
And when you're going to finish this book, what is your next idea, your next project? You're working on something, or
I'm kind of thinking of things.
Down first, and
I want to come be your intern. Can I do that? That's what I want to do. Yeah. Yeah, I want to come be your intern.
For the guys.
not just for the guys. Well, that helps. But no, I actually would like to explore some other areas of photography. The fashion thing has always interested me. I've done some sports stuff. I'd like to perfect that a little bit. So
you have to come to Paris.
Yes,
of course.
Yes,
Paris.
yes, absolutely.
Yes.
So that's what's up next. And I'd actually like to open my own studio to shoot portraits and stuff. So I'm kind of working on that now. You know,
Okay.
trying to transition out of the photojournalism just into the photography.
So you're welcome in Paris whenever you want.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you. This has been so fun. Okay, and one last question for you. What's the next book going to be?
I send it to you.
You send it to me. Oh, okay. It's going to be like that. All right, I understand. Well, thank you so much. This has been so wonderful
Yes,
for
thank
me.
you very much.
Yeah. And continued success. And I'll take this bracelet off of you right now. Mine. This is beautiful. Oh my God. Jeez. There you go. All right.